OBN, OBN,
Original black nerd.
OBN,
Original black nerd.
OBN,
Original black nerd. Everything discussed about dramas is that thorough.
OBN,
Original black nerd.
OBN.
Original black.
I fell into what I call, I'm all the way down the rabbit hole at this point. You know, YouTube is my #1 station. You know, my recently accessed apps, you know, is in YouTube. I watch this more than anything. So I'm hooked. So I fall down in what I call the seven realms of YouTube comic book Wonderland. Okay, so it was funny because I get down there, so after I go through all these things, and I find that it's like, okay, realm 1 would be like your 411 people. You know, these are people that tell you about the rumors, they tell you about what's being greenlit, what's in development, you know, what actors have been brought in, all of this stuff that's important information for all the other realms in comic book Wonderland. But they just give you information on it, you know. So you watch that and you want to know what's coming out in the movies, TV, all these greenlit projects. 411 realm is where you want to go hang out in. So boom. So then the next realm, I call this my collector's realm. Now these are the people that, you know, they show you their collections, they show you, you know, things that they bought that week for from the comic book shop. They talk a little bit about speculating, but they really talk a lot more about their collections and how they found it and whatever reason they collecting. So these are just, you know, your regular everyday people who just show you that stuff online, you know, which I'm fascinated by. And so then, the next realm that I fall into, I call these the Samaritans. These are people that come on, and a lot of them are comic book shop owners, and they'll do like preview shows and tell you what's coming out on Wednesday, what you should look for in the comic book shop. They're not so heavy on, you know, speculation part of it, but just more, you know, come check out this comic book. Here's a new comic book coming out, and they show you the different covers and that kind of thing. They provide information along that lines. So that's like my third realm is the Samaritans, you know. And then, you know, you fall into the biggest realm, and I call this my talkers, the talking realm. You know, it's a subject that goes on. They got an opinion on it, and it's like, you know, watching, you know, the whole Fox News, MSNBC, CNN thing in a microcosm online. So it's fascinating to me because I like just watching. I like seeing people and how they react and people's reactions and how they see things and different perspectives. I just like that kind of stuff. But talkers are broke down into two different groups. One of the groups, the bigger group, is the culture warriors. Like, they go to war on anything that has is relevant to something that's going on in society, and they just go off on that, you know, and they, you know, they go back and forth, and, you know, you got this camp over here and this camp over there, and you know, all this stuff going on. So then you have a smaller group of talkers, which I like to call the analysts. You know, they break everything down by the numbers. You know, this is the numbers here, this is what's happening here, this is what sales are those, this is what's this going here, this is some corporate action on this. Then they give you a whole perspective from the comic book industry, and they talk about that. You know, but okay, boomer moment is that when I first got online, you know, I started commenting. So I've been like, I got like my regular station, then I got the original Black Nerd station, then I got the collection channel. So I got a lot of channels now. So I go to different channels. But when I first started, I was just going by the channel. So I go to, and I comment on Ironheart, and, you know, highlight the character or whatever. And somebody commented that I was a SJW. Now, I know it said SJW, But at first, for some reason, I kept saying SWV. And I said, well, why are they talking about a female singing group? But then, as I saw more and more videos, I realized that it stood for Social Justice Warrior. So then I was like, well, okay, I'm a black guy. I was born in the 50s. It was segregation, when I was a kid. If you wasn't a social justice warrior, you have your black card revoked. So I didn't understand. But then I realized it was an insult. And I said, oh, okay, that's what it is. So it's cool. It was a learning experience, but it was funny. I don't, titles and names, that doesn't affect me one bit. So that was just a little side movement. You know how old people do. We kind of go to the side sometimes. But anyway, getting back to my realm. So we got the 411 realm. We got, where the people just give me all this information about what's going on with the rumors and what's greenlit and what's in development and what's in discussions and all of these things. And they got backstories and they got people that release from inside information, all that good stuff. So then, like I said, you got the second realm with the collectors. They show you all this stuff. I've been collecting this. This is what I got in my long box. This is what I got in my short box. This is what I built on my collection. This is what I got on Wednesday. You got all those. You got the people in the Samaritans in round 3 that say, oh, boom, okay, here's what's coming out. If you want to buy this, you should look for this. Here's some new stuff. Check it out. Then we got our talkers, like I just talked about, cultural warriors, analysts, doing their thing. And then we have the next round, which is, I call the griots, or the storytellers. And they just break down your comic book stories, your comic book series, your comic book arcs, character development, all these things interrelated. You want to know backstories, you want to know interrelationships. Man, I spent so much time watching those. It was crazy. I caught up on all the things that I wasn't reading during 90s, early 2000s when I was off doing other stuff with family, career, all those other development things. But I caught up with all the stories, all the backstories, all the interrelationships. So I know the griots. I love it. It's like my Audible for comic books, So it's cool. So then, that's your round 5, and then round 6 though. That's where the big dogs go, man. That's the speculators. Those are the people that come down. They will give you pre-order shows, but they tell you pre-orders, months in advance, telling you what's coming out, who characters are coming, what's going to be a key issue. This is where people, they know everything, who the artist, what the artist, how many times they've done it, how many issues were run, how many, how much is available in different markets, what the different grades are, all that stuff. And they talk, and this is, like I said, this is the top of the food chain. This is where the serious people go. And so, there's several channels on that. So, that's kind of how I look at I watch those stations to find out which comic books I'm going to buy for the speculating part of it. So that was fascinating, And then my final realm is, I call it the affiliated. Okay, and the affiliated realm is like everything else, your toys, graphic novels, novelties, all the other stuff that goes along with, action figures, statues, figurines, all the other stuff that goes along with the comic book world, but aren't comic books. So, I go down to 7 realms. That's my 7 realms. That's my trip that I have been on for a while. Not for a while, for basically since real heavy since March, and I've been in the comic book Wonderland. It was an experience that I obviously have enjoyed, because here I am. Okay, boomer in the comic book YouTube Wonderland. I love it. I'm looking forward to great things. I hope you enjoyed this little talk about what I did and my observation from the front porch. You know, check out obncollection.org to see all my stuff in my online museum. And, you know, when the COVID situation comes out, hopefully we'll get to put it out and people get to see it in person. Like they say, you know, like, subscribe, comment, you know, share, you know, notification bell, all those different things that I always forget to think about. Have a great time, and thank you for coming. Peace.